Oh, hello. Oh, ah, it- my body creaking that you can hear in the background. Right. Let's just make my face live. There we go. Hi. Hello. Everyone doing all right? I have a little burpee. Let me just tweet. I really hate. No. What am I tweeting? I am live and talking about Star Citizen. Come say hi and ask some questions. Wait, something I know. Yeah, perfect. So, everyone is doing well. We are in June, not the film. And what would we be in? Would we be in the original film June, or would we be in June Part 1 or Part 2? Or the series Children of June or something like that? I don't know. Who knows? No, I mean June the month. And there's a lot going on. We've got 3.23.1a. We've got Alien Week. We have 3.23.2. And the sort of start of the 4.0 cycle, at least in regards to I'm starting to cover it and talk about it, because that is planned for an end of September release 4.0, sort of roughly. How's everyone doing? Hope you're all right. Hello, I'll 07 with my own head. They are. Don't normally stream on Mondays. Well, I used to, and then I moved it to Fridays. I'm going to sort of mess around and do occasional Fridays, occasional Mondays, and sometimes a couple of times a week, all that sort of stuff. So we'll sort of see. Hopefully, when I've got my new place, which will be in a couple of weeks, I'll be in my new place. I'll be able to stream a lot better, with better camera, better bit rate, stuff like that. Is the hope. We're Star Citizens here. We live on hope. But yes, if you'd like to ask a question during the live stream, question in brackets, let's sort of have a bit of a rant, have a bit of a chat, what's happening with all the different sort of patch releases, what's happening in June, what's happening with, we can talk about drama, we can talk about the F7A being super overpowered at the moment, or the Mark II anyway. We can talk about, I suppose, the missile problems have already been sorted for the most part, but I suppose there's a problem with CIG's communication in patch notes recently, where they went, there's a balance pass on missiles in this PTU build, but it wasn't a balance pass. It was them testing something out to see if there was if it was causing issues on the server, and people were like, what have you done to missiles? Why have you done this? You've balanced them bad. Like, oh no, it's not a bounce pass. It says it in the patch notes as a bounce pass. So communication about stuff like that would be useful. I'm really looking forward to, well, in the short term, I'm looking forward to Xenothreat. Xenothreat, if it's in a good state, by the time the patch launches, awesome. So I've been messing around with it a little bit. Sometimes you have quite a clean run at bits of Xenothreat. AI seem to work. Patch looks good. Sometimes AI and NPCs not responsive, as in just don't move. So bear that in mind. There is problems with that 3.23.1 patch at the moment, a patch. And they need to solve that before pushing Xenothreat. Some people are concerned that them trying to solve the Xenothreat problem, as it were, and get that patch out is slowing down the release of 3.23.2, which is the big cargo patch, which we should see at least in PTU in June at some point. So really, really good patch, 3.23.2. It literally goes, bam. You want your cargo stuff that you was expecting the 3.23 branch, you got it. So persistent hangers, which are effectively customizable and instanced, and so bear that in mind. You shouldn't really know that they're instanced, though. Shouldn't be a factor. Then you've got item banks for doing your stuff around sort of landing zones, for messing around with your inventory, and you've got freight elevators at your hangar that allow you to bring up and take away cargo Cargo is now going to be done manually, loaded and unloaded. The cargo hauling missions for that as well. You'll be able to call up ships in your hangar from the hangar as well with the kiosk. You go, oh, that doesn't sound like much. It's huge. Like, it's huge. The additions of manually unloading and loading cargo, those freight elevators, those cargo hauling elements, the big overhaul to the cargo gameplay. Are we going to get a overhaul to the economy and other bits and bobs at the same time? Quite possibly. It makes sense. Will we get a server assistance wipe for your characters and stuff? They'd originally said no, but they always might. They said probably no originally. And remember, in the live build, whatever you've selected as your home location, that should be where you get your home hangar, your persistent hangar, your customizable hangar, and its size is based on the largest ship that you own. And I believe it takes into account any ship that you own, even including those bought with AlphaVC in-game. Bear that in mind. Obviously, wipes permitting. What's your expectation of the Ironclad Assault's top? It opens or it doesn't open. Okay, that is my expectation. It either opens or it doesn't open. So, looking at the pictures, and it doesn't overtly say that it doesn't open, I would expect the top to open still. There's not a huge amount of reasons for it to not open. You go, well, it needs to be more armoured, or it's supposed to be a ground vehicle sort of a transporter. I think it's still open. If you look at the pictures, the same markings are on the concept art, which suggests to me that it's still shuttered. I mean, if it's shuttered, then it will open and close. It makes sense. And then you could run it as a pocket carrier, right? Rather than as just a ground transport vehicle. So my expectation is that shutter opens and closes. But we'll know soon enough with the Q&A that Cloud Imperium have. It'll be fun unloading some of the bigger and older ships, which need a rework. So yeah, not all ships have had their appropriate rework done properly yet for cargo management. Hello, my neighbour's cat's here. Do you want to see my neighbour's cat? If you that. My neighbour's cats, Odo. They're ragdolls. There's a pair of them there, sort of brothers. Look at the cat. Oh, he doesn't pick them up. They're pretty good with me because I feed them occasionally. They are absolutely lovely. My cat does not like them so much. These are super young cats. They're absolutely lovely. Thank you very much for the raid. Genuinely appreciated, Graphic. Star, thank you. Yes, so some of the older ships rework. It's an issue. Like things like the Carrack and a reasonable amount of other ships are not built. They're not optimized or refined or reworked for the new cargo mechanics, so it's hard to load and unload them properly. That will get solved hopefully for 4.0 or during, probably for 4.0 or during that cycle. And you're going to have to just grin and bear it. I know it's annoying. Extreme Terror, thank you very much for the resub. That is appreciated. Anyone that clicks the join button under my videos, anyone that subs on Twitch, genuinely appreciated. Really helps the channel. Zin and I try and make daily content. Just recorded a podcast that should be going up later today. And I'm moving in a couple of weeks. Hopefully I've got a better place for that. I'm not sure if it's going to cause much disruption to the channel or not. We'll have to see. Like, if the internet's not working or something, it's going to cause a reasonable amount of disruption. I haven't got a desk even for my computer yet. So sort of camping there effectively for the first night. And then we'll see what we can get done with the next couple of days after that. And the flooring's not going to be done until like the end of the month. Say flooring, just replacing the flooring. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to a nice, good-looking house. And what else have we got here? When I bought my fleet of caterpillars, I imagined having the freedom to swap command modules like the truck on a tractor trailer. Do you expect the modules to be able to work towards this? So, the modules on the caterpillar, the front module and the 4 body modules, they should be able to be swapped in and out for lots of different things. We don't know exactly what those things are going to be yet, but expect a good amount of modularity there. And yeah, you'll be able to swap those in and out. And relatively easy. I mean, not going to be like bam, bam, done. It's going to... You need a specialist facility, probably, to do it. But I would expect them to be pretty common for the caterpillar's needs. That's my expectation. Might be able to do it just for tractor beams. I'll have to wait and see. There's some sort of landing zone, probably to be able to do it for you. Now, if we're talking about the command module on the side, which is effectively an escape module, as far as I'm aware, they are supposed to be emergency. They are basically the cockpit of the ship. They can detach in an emergency for you to get away. You're going, I'm leaving my cargo behind. Boop, get away. Now, can you reattach a command module after it's been detached? Possibly, probably. Is it easy to do? Yeah, I suspect Cloud Imperium will allow it to happen. And it will be relatively easy to do, but they did say it was supposed to be done in an emergency. At least that was with the sort of ironclads. I'm not sure if the ironclad and the caterpillar's command module cockpit are exactly the same metrics or not. I would expect it to be smaller, the command module on the caterpillar. Do you think that the Polaris will make it flight ready for Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, or should we expect delays, given that we've seen some delays with some of the patches already? Always expect delays. Nothing's set in stone with that sort of stuff. There are goals and targets and the current development plans. But I'm expecting the Polaris to be in our hands for IAE. I am. So that's my thought on it. What else have we got here? Boop, boop, boop. Thank you very much, Shoticus. Oh, all is well. Thank you very much. I had a dental appointment this morning. Got up very early for that, and then I had lots of sugar. I was very hyper for the podcast, and Tim was like, "Oh." Release date for Squadron. What's your best guess? Oh, I think we're going to see a release date at CitizenCon this year. When's a good time to... Could have it by Christmas. What if they release it for Christmas? I'd say that's my best guess because that's what I want the most. I've seen someone has... Thank you very much. Someone has sent donation in the chat, but it's not loading up properly. So apologies for that. Travel the map. Thank you. I pressed some buttons and it worked. It worked good. Chipmunk Conventions. Thank you very much for becoming a board citizen. Very much appreciated. I didn't know I had this tab available to me. This is amazing. Genuinely appreciated, sir. And Travel the Map, thank you very much for that donation. Since there has been so many changes lately in Star Citizen, do you think the CIG has everything under control or putting out fires here and there? Is everyone on the same page? So, a mixture of the two. They've got a firefighting team, and it's all under control. Nothing to see here, it's all under control. But, I mean, the nature of how they develop the game and how they engage with the community, fires occur. There is a reasonable amount of fire. So bear that in mind, right? Especially with them, with the dramas, with the missiles. That was just a terrible communication error. If that's what's happened. People were a bit miffed about the F7A Mark II being pretty powerful. And potentially getting nerfed after its sale again, like they do with some ships. At least that's what it appears they do. Why nerf it during the sale? Let's wait until after. So There's fires. And there's potentially going to be fires with 4.0, right? There's definitely going to be fires with 4.0 because they got fire tech for engineering. But I'm talking about, is there going to be a 3.18 situation where they have a unplayable game for a few weeks because of something they put in the live build, like server meshing, like we had with persistent entity streaming in 3.18? The answer is that possibly could happen, right? That could possibly happen. Now, Cloud Imperium seem to be very aware of the faults and problems they had with 3.18 and additional network tech. There's going to be a huge amount of testing for 4.0, and some of us have already tested server meshing and the Pyro Playground and moving between Stanton and Pyro and doing stuff in Pyro. So we know it works. It's just, and even if they do have a terrible launch, they'll get there, right? So bear that in mind. It's a thing that might happen. We might have some sad time. Hopefully not. Hopefully all good time. Alpha for a reason. They're going to be moving on to 1. Like after 4.0 is released, there's going to be 0.1, 0.2, whatever. But they are going to be setting the main focus as a version 1, a minimum viable product release after that, right? Wasn't 3.17 a longer PTU patch before? So yeah, probably. Can't remember. My brain is fleeting with such memories. When do you think 4.0 comes out? I don't think it will come out in 2024. They are currently targeting 4.0 as end of Q3 release. I think it will definitely be this year. I think it might be... it's going to be between September and October, in my opinion. And you know that's true because of the music in the background being quite so... What else have we got? Hopefully server meshing helps servers because they are really on fire this patch. They need to get the network tech under control so that it's not erratic, so that NPCs just go, I am done for the day, I'm checking out. And they just chill out and do nothing. 4.0 could potentially catapult Star Citizen into being an actual MMO that is a lot more mainstream. And that is what I am hoping for. But I totally agree with you that they need to solve the net tech, and the server meshing for it is a bit silver bullety, right? It's a bit Jesus patchy, and it's so let's hope that it does have a big effect. Cloud Imperium go, look, rough around the edges at the moment, server meshing, but look at Star Citizen, it's good. They're gonna need some time to iron out server meshing for sure, but. Do you think moving cargo will get boring quickly, especially ships which can hold more cargo get released into the game? You're going to be able to, in the future, have that automatically done for you, cargo loading and unloading, but you have to pay for it, and it will still take a bit of time. Bear that in mind. So you don't want to do it. Cool. Is it going to be boring? It's going to be boring for some people and not for others. Some people are going to really enjoy that part of the cargo management. There's a lot of stuff in Star Citizen which could be considered boring, and some people will love it, and some people just see it as a adding to the experience or giving pace to the game, right? Because you have that very immersive game where you're trying to, you even have the sort of moving in the trams and moving in public transport to get where you want to go. No loading screens, but no fast travel. But then that adds to the fast-paced nature of when you actually have action. So it goes from you going for a bit of a walk to then going for a run, going back to a bit of a walk again. And hopefully that gets your heart pumping and people enjoy that. I mean, it depends what you want to do as well. You could do cargo stuff, you could base build, there'll be loads of other stuff in the future, right? But why are those surfaces so flammable? There's space surfaces, aren't they? Well, it's got nowhere else to go. It's a good point. Why make the ship so flammable? When do you think we'll get the new quantum travel experience with quantum boosting? That is a really good question. So, for people that don't know, they've got new quantum travel effects, and they also have a new way of quantum traveling, where basically, while you're accelerating into quantum, you basically need to try and keep your ship within the quantum corridor or quantum tunnel. Otherwise, you might take a bit of damage. You might get you'll get kicked out of quantum and be a bit like disabled or slow, or take a while for you to be able to quantum travel again or whatever. And you can also do little short quantum boosts. But again, while you're quantum boosting, you need to keep your ship within the quantum tunnel. Now, as soon as you come up to speed, when you're quantum traveling normally, so you're accelerating, as soon as you come up to speed, you can go hands off. That's you. The tunnel has been created correctly, and your ship's good. While you're still going into it, you need to make sure your ship is staying within that quantum tunnel, which is going to be interesting as well for people that are trying to escape and that sort of jazz. Any updates on when 3.23.2 is supposed to drop? So no hard updates on that at the moment. I'm expecting it by end of June. You can expect it to be in PTU, or at least Ivakali. No, expect it to be talked about more in PTU over the next couple of weeks. I expect it to at least be in PTU by the end of the month, if not live. How hangers affect station trading with Hull C? Unsure if they've talked about that. So in the short term, Hull C will work as it kind of has already, where you'll go to the loading unloading area, and it sort of does it automatically. I believe in the future, you'll be able to remove the cargo yourself in those areas, or pay for it to be loaded unloaded. I think that's the plan. Not 100% on that, to be honest. One of my areas of knowledge, I'm not entirely sure how external cargo is going to be done like that at stations. However, it looks like that's the reason for cargo decks and those sort of cargo areas, is that you will be able to take it off manually still. But not in 3.23.2, I don't believe. It's going to be done as it has been previously in that patch. When do you think the when do you think that 4.0 comes out? I don't think it'll come out in 2024. No, yeah, as I said, by end of October, hopefully in September. I hate the cats. Oh, you mean? In the law, the command modules for the caterpillar reattach. Yeah, so I'm not arguing they reattach, but the idea was that they're not supposed to just casually be used to detach. They are a emergency escape mechanism. So they said about the Great Ironclad anyway. I'm not a fan of the Nomad either. It's in my top 5 most disliked ships. Is covering Star Citizen your main gig? What do you do for your day job? So I also do 3D printing and sell collectibles, Kickstarters, and board games and stuff. And one of the things that when you place allows me to have is effectively a floor dedicated to board games, stock, and 3D printing. What else have we got? I need like 6 months of marketing before release. Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah, so yeah, I suppose more likely is early to mid 2025 for Squadron 42, right? No, I live in hope. I really miss server stability. It'll be a feature in the next patch. Regarding the command module on the cat and ironclad, if you use it, get back to a landing zone when you claim your ship, will you have attach the ships again? So, don't know exactly how that's going to work. The future of insurance claims on ships as well is going to be a bit different, right? But I suspect that that command module will effectively be taken away from you. Would be my expectation. And you get a whole new ship. Or you might just get a payout for ships when they when you lose them, right? It might just be like, here's the payout for your ship. Might depend on the type of insurance you've got. When do you think we will get weapon wear and tear with malfunctions? Isn't that supposed to be done real soon? Isn't that supposed to be for 4.0? Proper weapon wear and tear? I think it was planned for 4.0 originally at the very least. You want to have charge and drain. It may be for 4.0. So some of the wear and tear system, some of it is in game already. Regards to 2.23, assuming 3.23 economic cycle, other plans to balance bounty hunting missions. So you should see a huge amount of balance with stuff for 4.0 because they are fundamentally changing tons of stuff. I would expect to see a good amount of balance and changes for 3.23.2 as well because the economy is fundamentally changed by those cargo updates. But I don't. CIG have not specifically talked about that recently, so I don't know. And we might see some updates on that in like the monthly report. Be in the next few days. No new information on NPC crew. Vulcan is working really well for some people apparently, but I'm waiting for it to be a bit ironed out before I move over to it. With changes to cargo in 3.23.2, with this change mining gameplay, specifically with raw contanium. There might be new cargo types, new box types, new movement and storage of it. Raw contanium, though, has a quite short half-life, as it were, a quite short timer on it, right? Probably not so much of an issue. You probably won't be able to store quantanium, right? You only be able to sell it to specialist facilities and stations. Do I look like a space pirate on purpose? What? That's just my look I'm vibing. When in-game claiming subscriber again might come, potentially for 4.0. So they've got item banks in 3.23.2, which is sort of a big step towards that. You'll be able to access these item banks to move your gear around and probably claim your gear in the future. Only thing keeping me from playing much is progression. Yeah, I mean, what's keeping a lot of people from playing, right? Like, the game needs more content to it, and there is no progression at the moment because it gets wiped all the time. I mean, there's a progression as much as you want a sandbox progression it, right? That you certainly argue progression from a sandbox point of view, or if you've got an org that basically has a form of progression. Hey, Bored, how you doing? Do you know maybe the payout will be for running cargo contracts? Have no idea. They've not talked about specifics of money and balance for that. I mean, they need to change economic balance, in my opinion, hugely for 3.23.2 because of the cargo stuff. Everything needs to change. The costs of everything, all needs to be updated. You think multiple replication layers will be needed if we have too many servers running on a shard? No, because that's not the nature of the replication layer. The replication layer can be made up of multiple computers working together. The replication layer itself, though, is just effectively the store of data and then being able to transfer the data, know what data needs to be transferred. So it makes sure that everyone's server client data is correct. They've got it. So snapshot of that. It needs to go. This is the snapshot of the data. It needs to go to you. This one's changing on the server. That's changed on the server. What snapshot of the data is. I'm very much looking forward to moving in my new house. This might have been a random thing. I heard somewhere that was completely false. But did they say anything about the MPUV becoming a modular ship? They did. MPUV looks to becoming actually modular. So you should see the other MPUVs become modular as well. And the cargo and personnel pods that are underneath, they'll be attachable to each other and the MPUV tractor. I'm assuming that you'll be able to put tracked beams on the others, but the MPUV tractor is a really cool ship now because you're basically able to put the cargo pod, the personnel pod, or 16 SCU cargo container. You've got 2 tracked beams as well. Really cool little platform for helping with your capital ship or to help manage cargo and stuff. What's the current money-making meta? I don't know anymore. So lots of people were doing the dupe bugs and stuff like that. That's so exploits and stuff being solved in that 3.3.1a patch. At least a good amount of them. I expect more to be more exploits and bugs to be solved in 3.23.2. I don't actually know what the meta will be. Grinding for Alpha UEC is not really something I do that much either. I want to play and see new missions and stuff. It probably won't be salvage more. I'm dropping one more Star Citizen secret. The most complete capital ship is the Bengal Carrier. Been completed for years. They just keep updating it. I mean, we've seen the Bengal Carrier in game a few times. The interior is not in a proper state though. So when I was talking about account bound gear earlier and the item banks, so probably with 4.0 is when I'm expecting Cloud Imperium will go. You can reclaim gear from item banks. This might have been carry on. So region ships aren't quantum markers you can travel to. If I start with the Carrack, leave it in orbit, that side. It would be nice to be able to quantum travel back to it. Yeah, expect you'll be able to do that in the future. You're going to have to load more stuff like that, being able to set quantum travel points wherever you want and share them, things like that as well. And now they have the modular ship system getting off the ground. Any word on the old Battlefield upgrade kits? Oh! So, not sure what's happening with the Battlefield upgrade kits. So, I had them in my next ages ago. I'd have to go search for them. Obviously, the Battlefield upgrade kits for the Vanguards allow you to effectively modularly change between the Vanguards, or at least have the different weapons and stuff and loadouts for them. So I'd expect them to break those down and you get all that stuff in your hangar. But modularity is going to be expanding out to more stuff beyond just the Retaliator, and there's going to be more Retaliator pods as well. Hey, but I saw a CIG video on a resource gathering mission coming. Do you have a prediction on when? There'll be loads of new missions for 4.0, and by the end of the year. Tons and tons and tons. There's also going to be... they're going to be expanding out what cargo hauling, cargo types of mission are there as well, and pick up and deliver missions, and we want X resource missions. We want resources, bring us resources. We want you to also bring resources, but only from this area. Go here, mine, and bring us back resources. Things like that. How long do you think it would be before AI Blades come in? It's going to be something like next year. That'd be my expectation for AI Blades and that sort of stuff. And then the year after, AI crew, NPC crew. What's the most glaring piece of tech debt aside from server meshing? Oh, I mean, there's loads of stuff with the flight model. I mean, they're obviously they have to overhaul the flight model. There's tons. A lot of it's that they're effectively replacing. So it's hard to sort of tell with tech debt, right? I need to do a deep dive into what we consider tech debt, define what we mean by it, and then categorize stuff that then falls within that category. There's a lot in Star Citizen, but it's not insurmountable. What if they bring in weapon and personal armor damage soon? Would they not need to bring in repair options for those items? Yes. Not necessarily. You could just replace the armor and stuff. I'd expect you to be able to repair it with multi-tools. There's going to be workbenches and stuff like that as well. How much physical damage is physical damage system going to be? Will damage the actual armor? I don't know. Hey, Board, how are you doing? Do you know maybe what will be the payout per guy? We talked about that. What's the smallest ship you take to Pyro? Well, I suppose the smallest ship you could physically take to Pyro would be like a Pisces, right? Because it's got need a quantum drive to have a jump drive, right? Quantum jump drives the same things now? Or are they separate? I believe it's got a quantum and jump drive. I can't remember whether CIG said they were going to separate them or combine them again. No, so ray tracing and stuff like that they're planning to add it in the future, I believe. Lots of other Vulcan things. Do you think they'll ever have a CitizenCon in Canada, Montreal? Maybe. Don't know. Never say never. But they might start doing them more globally around the offices. But I think the rotation was US, UK, Frankfurt, but we'll see. Do you print ships? So I print like Warhammer 40k-esque miniatures and things like that. The ships for Star Citizen I have, the physical ones, are from JR Fabrication. So they are official Star Citizen kits. I might 3D print some of my own in the future, but I quite like the boxes they come in. How you doing? You know, maybe what will be the outfit that we talked about that. Space Cows on the roadmap and hangars coming out. How long do you think we get our fish tanks? Potentially fish tanks in 3.23.2. Because you're going to be able to put some of that flare in your hangar. You think the base building patch will create a land grab where everyone is fighting over the best spots? So, to a degree, people are going to be searching the best spots and surveying and selling those good spots. I think there's quite a lot of land on quite a lot of planets and moons. So, and they're going to be opening up more and more star systems. I don't think it'll be too much of a land grab. As the new place coming along, I'm waiting to get all the confirmed dates for everything, but should be in a couple of weeks. I should be there. What systems do you think 1.0 will bring? That is a good question. I've started talking about it in some videos. It's quite a complex subject, and I don't 100% know yet. You're starting to look at minimum viable product being most of the features that client people have talked about being in the game. They don't need to have full content completion. So they don't need to. They only need to have like a half a dozen star systems. They don't need to have all the ships. They don't need to have. But I would expect almost all the features to be in game to some degree. They'll be expanding those out quite a lot, I suppose, and lots of star systems over time. Hey, bud, do you remember like 5 or 6 years ago? Ooh, when Rex Elise make content? Yes, that was a good time. Does anyone still do that stuff anymore? Yeah, yeah. People make that stuff at a reasonable amount. Lots of people that do that as part of org gameplay or literally just search for Star Citizen there. Like Detox, I'm pretty sure still does that stuff. And there's lots of other large content creators that check out Star Citizen and be doing stuff like that as well. So do you think there will be any kind of wipe for 3.23.1a? Unlikely, but it's always possible. And 3.23.2, they said they didn't plan to wipe, but that could obviously change. Now, whatever happened to the mountable size 1 Gatlings they showed before attached to pushcarts? So we know there are mountable guns around, but obviously potentially not supposed to be pushed around. Do you think Star Citizen will be slowed down as Amazon replaces their servers over the time with newer servers? Can it go faster? What else have we got? Will they change how weapons are used in armistice zones anytime soon? Yes. So it's likely very soon, probably later this year, they'll allow you to pull guns and update the law system for green zones. You will be able to fire green zones. That is going to be a thing in the future, for sure. I think they're going to be pushing towards having an updated version of bounty hunting for 4.0 because it's good gameplay for Pyro, right? I think that for that, they're going to want you to be able to pull your guns at these stations. Kind of been obviously said they want to do that in the future. I'm just expecting it for later this year. Did you see the team working on the Polaris said they're going to upgun it so it can fare better against other capital ships and guns? What are your expectations on this? So they want it to be not just a torpedo corvette. So even if it's not firing its torpedoes or there's a lot of torpedo defense going around, that it's still an effective corvette. That is what I expect. So that it has a reasonable amount of other duties and a reasonable amount of other firepower from conventional weapons. It's not just like can't use its torpedoes, it's screwed. It's like it's still a powerful ship. Do you think CIG will start new monetization efforts with the release of persistent hangers? Would you like to see decor furniture? I'd like to see decor and furniture in-game. Do I think that CIG could sell furniture packs and furniture? Oh, they could, couldn't they? Oh, it's not a prospect I'd be super thrilled with. I'd be very susceptible to buying it as well because I'm a dum-dum. I don't play Rust anymore, but I still see architecture packs and things in Rust that I want to buy. Oh, that looks cool. It's like I don't play Rust at the moment. Do you think the F7C Mark II F7A upgrade will be available in the future? Again, in some fashion. Yes. I think they'll run the Overdrive initiative and it will be available in that again. I think you'll be able to get it in game. Makes sense. Makes sense, though. Golden ticket events for the F8. And then you have the Xeno threat events for the one at Mark II. And then lots of other things that are also give you ships and reputation towards getting other ships and that sort of stuff from dynamic events. You know if the cargo update will affect mining. So we need to remove the bags and place in the cargo before processing. Yes, I suppose almost certainly at some point I would potentially in 3.2 3.2 you'd have to take off the cargo, the saddlebag, and then put it into the freight elevator, right? Yeah, I would expect that. That is a actual good point. Mining bags Thank you. It's not in my notes, but it is now. How dangerous is the Sunspike flare in Pyro? So, when I tested it, it disabled your ship. When I first tested it, it disabled your ship permanently. So, pretty bad. Unless you were behind something, or in something that had protection. And it was the same for your character. I think it would kill you if you were out on the surface of planets, but it just garbled your HUD for like 10 minutes when I tested it and blinded you. So it's going to be pretty dangerous. The idea is you need to be inside or have enough protection somewhere. Can you pull a ship from any other cannon into Star Citizen? Oh, if I do, what do I pick? Big fan of Battlestar. I'm a big fan of Babylon 5. I don't know. I love the Defiant as well from Star Trek. Oh. That's a question I'm not willing to answer because I don't know. The Hornet Mark 1s being faded out and no longer purchasable, do you think they'll still receive their gold standard pass? Yes, they said they would. That's still a ship that will exist in-game. You'll be able to get them in-game somehow. They will be obtainable. They're just not being sold in in-game shops at the moment or in the RSI shop store either. So, do you think there's a secret ship dev team that's been working on Vandal ships? Well, there's definitely teams that work, definitely people that are working on Vandal ships, and there's definitely teams of ship teams that are working on ships that we don't know about. Any idea when we'll have the next full wipe? 4.0 would be my expectation for a full wipe. Definitely full sort of wipe then. That so 90% chance of a wipe, a full wipe for 4.0, I'd say. Is there a reason ships aren't quantum? Oh, that's what quantum markers control talked about that. I think Bounty Hunting version 2 is not going to be making it for 4.0, but a 4.x patch. That's quite possible. I do think it's relatively soon. I think by end of year, or potentially early next year. I do think that Bounty Hunting version 2 is a big thing that CIG want to get in because it gives a huge amount of stuff to do for Pyro. Jared mentioned a lot of dependent tech for this. Yeah. Could it come in 2 phases, Bounty Hunting 2.0? Maybe. I see what you mean with the Dynamic Universe Sim and tracking. That is kind of big features that are more likely to come out next year. No, that's fair. When is 3.20, 3.1a out? Probably later this week. Probably very soon. They're trying to solve some network problems and Xenothreat stuff and NPC stuff in it at the moment. Get it as ironed out as possible. Xenothreat was being super erratic to the point of just not working at all to being okay. So they need to get it so it's consistently working. Otherwise, people are just going to be very grumpy. I'm sure you've answered this 100 times a day, but when do you think 3.03 will come out? So at some point in June, we should have it at least in the PTU, or in the PTU by mid-June, properly. Like, it'll be an ePicarded before that. You think exploiting will be dealt with by 4.0? So, they're supposed to be solving some of the exploits in 3.0, 3.1a, and I would expect more stuff and more tweaks in 3.20, 3.2, and then there's going to probably be a full wipe of 4.0 anyway. How you doing, Craig, mate? You're right. Geno's hot garbage, inconsistent spawning of quest limits. Yeah, I know it. It is inconsistent and it is erratic. I had a moderately good experience with it when I tested it, but I've also had it where nothing's happening and everyone's like, no, it's broken on loads of servers as well. So interestingly, when they first put up, it was working okay for me. One session I played, but I didn't actually complete. I was just doing some bits of it. So. Have there been any updates on NPC crew and AI Blades? I talked about this earlier. Expect AI Blade stuff probably next year, but no, there's not been any form of update to that, and that's just me guessing as well. He most definitely still works at CIG. I believe that is the case. There is no update from Tony Z and the economy. We know that they're working on it still. We know that the dynamic economy lives on a sort of separate little node that they're sort of experimenting with. Right. I'm going to see who else is streaming. And then I'm going to wrap up because I want to get a podcast out. And I'm in the process of packing as well to move into my new place. So yeah, bear with me one sec. Rawr, that's the bear that's with me because I said, bear with me. I'm going to send you over to the beautiful Maya. He's a good boy. No, don't. No, I don't. No, Maya, I don't. I just want to send people to you. Don't want to listen to you. Raid Maya. Is that going to work? No. It's slash raid Maya. Perfect. I know how to YouTube. I know how to start Citizen. Don't you dare tell me I don't. So I'm going to send some people over to Maya on Twitch. You want to go over there and watch him? Great. If you don't, I'm not your dad. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I am really excited for 3.2. That's what I'm excited for most this month. A little bit for the 4.0 cycle, although it's gonna, it's gonna build slow. But yeah, all those cargo updates, they're big and they could be quite fun. They could be quite fiddly and annoying, but also I'll have to wait and see. I know a lot of people are going to be annoyed that some ships aren't just ready for kind of gameplay properly, like the Carrack's not. It needs updates. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care. If you've got any questions or anything, you can chuck them in the comments below this VOD, or you can message me at contact@boredgamer.co.uk, or you can find me on my Discord, discord.gg/boredgamer, and I'll talk to you there. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for using that join button and becoming a Patreon and subbing on Twitch. It's all super useful. Love you loads. Bye.